Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of College and Career Pathways, where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m., we provide you with information on various colleges and universities, financial aid resources, technical schools, training programs, skilled trade professions, employment opportunities, career readiness skills, and career exploration, all designed to help you make the best career decisions possible. I'm Tony Curtin, your host, and we are back with Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union and their financial literacy workshop series. Today, our topic is scams and identity theft. This is going to be a real good one. We welcome you back, Colleen. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, identity theft is just gotten more and more. You feel like it's everywhere now. We've got some great slides. I did want to start off with a cute, informative video, as I tend to do. So let's hope this works.
Welcome to NPYIS, Jen.
NP what now?
NPYIS. Not protecting your identity. Super good. You're just in time. This is our crime scene.
No, that's my apartment?
It's a gold mine for identity thieves.
I know I should probably be more concerned about the camera in my apartment right now, but for the sake of learning more about identity theft, what? How?
Look here. Trash can and hats. Mail with your full name and address, old bank statements, an expired credit card. These need to be shredded beyond recognition before they get thrown out, or someone could scoop your identity out of a recycling bin.
Oh man, I didn't realize that.
Not many people do. And look here, wallets and hats.
Whoa.
Do you really need to carry all that stuff with you every day?
Well, no, I just kind of keep it there.
Anything needlessly in your wallet can be needlessly stolen. Carry the bare minimum with you and store the rest in a secure place. Smartphone and hats. Phones in the wrong hands are a portal to your personal information. Passcode protect them, or use an app that will wipe the phone if it gets lost or stolen. And don't store PIN codes or passwords in to-do list apps.
But they're so handy.
Well, they're handy for identity thieves, too. So are your social media posts. Don't overshare. Don't broadcast when you're going out of town. And don't post photos of latte art.
Latte art? Why?
Because I'm sick of seeing them in my news feed.
Oh.
Sir, coffee shop surveillance just came in.
During transactions, keep your card in sight at all times and use your hand to cover your PIN number. And things like banking and online shopping should never be done from a public Wi-Fi network.
Gotcha.
Let's check out your workstation, computer, and hats. It looks like you only shop on trusted sites. That's good. Good job. Web browser, enhance, 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 enhance. That's better. When entering personal information online, look for HTTPS and that padlock symbol. It means it's secure. Email, enhance. Look out for suspicious-looking emails and links. Thieves will pose as large companies and ask for personal information, hoping you won't notice the difference. Sketchy email addresses and URLs can give them away.
Cool.
Install spam filters and antivirus software to protect yourself from these instances. Emails are not secure, so you should never send personal information by email. And of course, never use the same password for everything.
Sir, results are back from the lab. She uses the same password for everything.
If you can't do it yourself, then you can use a trusted secure password manager app to do it for you.
Well, if I didn't need it before, I definitely need it now.
All right. What's that there? Kitty cat. Enhance.
Hey, my cat is not an identity thief.
I know. I'm just investigating how cute it is. Adorable. Vigilance is also an important part of keeping your identity safe. Familiarize yourself with your billing cycles so that you can tell if a statement doesn't show up or your mail gets tampered with.
Sir, this just came in. Identity theft reported. Phone scam, fake contest for a cruise.
I'm on it.
Computer, enhance. Ah, so cool. Enhance.
This is my cat Smokey, and this over here is Mittens. This is my cat Bella. She's allergic to pineapple.
All right, very cute. Cute. Okay. You see the presentation, the slides?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So identity theft is the fastest growing nonviolent crime in America. And again, when you see it on TV of like, oh, it's a victimless crime, so we use their credit cards. So, they don't really have to pay for it. The company will pay for it. So it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. And it's not something that anyone can ignore. Learn to safeguard your information. Don't make it any easier for anyone else. There's 5 identity theft jackpots that we want to cover and how to safeguard against them. Your trash can, your internal inside trash can, as well as outdoors, when you put your bag of trash outdoors. I used to get, well, I'm sure many, many people get those credit card offers. You're pre-approved, and you get them every day, and they come all the time, and it's so frustrating, and you just a lot of times throw them out without even opening it because you know what it is, you don't want to sign up, and you just throw it away. Well, people know that. People will absolutely go through trash for applications, pre-approval applications. And it doesn't mean they're only looking for, let's say, the richest of the rich. They know that people in rough, struggling situations get a lot of offers for debt consolidation loans and, special credit card with an extra high limit. So you do not want to leave any of those offers, anything with your name, your finances, it's got to be shredded. MSGCU has Shred Day once a year in 2 different locations. Some cities host it now and again. Perhaps you can go to, a friend's house and borrow, but you definitely have a level of items that you need to make sure are not open for the public. Oh, here we go. Shred anything that has your full name and address before you throw it out, including envelopes, bank statements, even expired credit cards. If they send you that piece of paper with a new card, no, call here to activate it. You don't want someone to get a hold of that. Or your ATM receipts or your paycheck stubs, for sure. Your phone, and your phone's super susceptible to viruses, identity theft. Have it password protected and a lock on your home screen. Because I work for a credit union, I have extra security things set up on my phone from my IT department, and I have to put in my 6-digit passcode every single time I pick up the phone. Every single time it goes from a black screen to, I want to do something, and it's super annoying, but there's a purpose. That's the reason. It's a 6-digit number. There's no way that I can just leave it for enough time where it doesn't go to screensaver and someone can pick it up and get into my items and into my apps. Make sure you turn the screensaver to like the lowest, 30 seconds or 1 minute. Have a phone location, locate my phone app. Ask about setting up something where if someone does get in or if the password is entered incorrectly so many times, it'll get wiped out. You really do not want to have someone have access to all of the information that they can find on your phone. Public Wi-Fi networks, not secure. And unfortunately, public Wi-Fi networks is what a lot of people depend on. If you don't have Wi-Fi at home and you only use it at school and you only use it at work and you use it when you're at the coffee shop or at the grocery store, at the airport, it makes sense. It's perfect. Why not? And you can certainly use public Wi-Fi. Not saying never use public Wi-Fi, but just make sure, what are you doing? Are you making purchases? Are you typing in a debit card number? If you're just checking your email, okay. If you're just shopping but not actually buying anything, okay. But you really want to be careful about what you do on a public Wi-Fi, even at home. If you have an unsecured wireless network at home, other people walking by in the neighborhood on the other side of the house, they can log in and use your Wi-Fi. Don't store sensitive information on your phone. You know, do not have in the notes app, you know, passwords. And then, well, that's all where all my passwords are. Well, if I can figure that out, anyone else can figure that out, right? You know, don't make things obvious. Don't store things easy for you to get at where clearly it's just that easy for someone else to get at. You know, and they were mentioning about using the same password over and over again. If they manage to crack it once, if they manage to crack, let's say, your Facebook account, and it worked, so now they've got this password, and it just so happens to open up your bank account and your student loan login and all these other things. So make sure they're different. The PIN pad at a store, at retail. Keep your card in sight at all times. I know I'm guilty of it myself. You get ahead of yourself. You pull the card out. You're like, oh, they're almost finished. You're just holding it. You set it down. You put it down as some sort of message of, yep, I'm ready to pay. And you don't think much about it. But what's on that card? You know, it's a 16-digit number on the front. It shows the expiration date. All they need is those 3 numbers on the back. They can take a picture of your card. They can, you know, just turn on their phone, you know, tape, record your card, watch you put your PIN in. You want to, someone showed me where you're holding your debit card in a specific way in your hand, where your thumb is covering the numbers, where you put the back of it on the back, you hold it in the palm of your hand. The stripe is touching your fingers, and your thumb is covering the 16-digit number on the front. Just try to make it a habit, just when you're holding it, when you're swiping it, when you're waving it around, just at least, if you can't keep the whole thing covered, if you can keep half of it covered, great. They can't do anything with just half the number. If you have people around you that seem suspicious, some shoulder surfers, or maybe you're in an area where you don't completely feel safe, or you're with just friends and family that are bothering you, you know, oh, what's your PIN? I bet I know it. I bet I know what your PIN is. It's your birthday. Let me see. I bet I'm right. And you're like, oh, it is my birthday. I don't want him to see that. Choose the credit option. Even if you're using your debit card, hit credit option, and then you do not have to put your PIN in. You can put your PIN in with a debit purchase, but you a lot of times can choose to make it a credit option purchase or a signature transaction that does not require your PIN. Choose a good PIN. Again, just like I said, avoid birthdays. Whether it's, you know, 0224 or whether it's, you know, 1282, but avoid birthday dates, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really, don't keep the same PIN number your entire life for everything. Keep in mind, if someone else were to try, how hard would they have to try, right? We want to keep it easy for ourselves. Of course we do. But how hard would someone else have to actually work to get our information, right? You literally want to make them work as hard as possible so that it's not worth their while. Your mailbox, and this is something a lot of people don't think about, and I honestly wouldn't really think of myself, but oddly enough, my parents had an issue with their mailbox. One time my mom went out and put the bills in the mail, put the flag up, walked back in the house, and happened to be looking outside and noticed a car pull up, take things out of the mailbox and drive away. And she's, that's so strange. That definitely wasn't the postman. Did they take anything? And went out and there was nothing in the mailbox. And, they reported it. And sure enough, someone had recreated their checks, tried to spend checks, tried to use checks from their account that weren't valid. So the reason she's putting a check in the mail is because she doesn't trust, online. I don't want to online pay my bills. I'm just going to stick with the safest way. I'm just going to put a check in the mail. Well, true, but that doesn't mean you're completely safe. That doesn't mean, they can't get at a check. If you suddenly stop receiving mail, if you notice something is a little extra late, if you haven't gotten a bill for something, oftentimes you have it memorized. I know my car payment's due on the 15th. I just know that. So I'm going to go ahead and pay it. I don't really need the bill to remind me to pay it. I just know that. Well, if you usually get a bill and you didn't get a bill this month, even if you remember and pay on time, maybe look into it. Did you guys send a bill? When was it sent? Is there anything else, I'm missing? You want to make sure you're keeping consistency, right? If something just seems out of place, you don't want to, when you put those bills out and put the flag up, honestly, I would say either don't put the flag up or wait until close to when you believe the mail person is coming before to put them out, or hand them to them directly. At my house now, they walk right up to the door and, put the mail through the slot. So it's a perfect opportunity to say, please take these items, as opposed to putting them in a mailbox. Lock it up. Another way, use a mailbox with a lock. Have a lock it overnight, or lock it when you get the mail, and up until the next day, keep it overlocked, keep it locked. There's no reason anybody else needs to go in your mailbox for any reason. You might have to get a particular lock. I'm sure there's issues with leaving it locked when the postman comes, but really anything you can do to protect yourself. Your computer, of course, just like your phone, which is kind of a small computer, your computer, your laptop, iPad holds just tons of information about you. Keep your software up to date. Make sure you have antivirus. Make sure you have spam filters. If you are receiving just an inordinate number of emails, I'm sure we all get the 9 emails from Kohl's a week, and from Old Navy and Verizon and Harbor Freight. And if you're sick of receiving those emails, unsubscribe. Go in and unsubscribe to any email you do not want. And depending on the platform you use, sometimes it'll ask. It'll say, oh, this looks like a subscribed mail. Would you like to unsubscribe? Would you like to block it? Yes, please. You don't want anything you don't need, right? You're not going to get the Kohl's coupons anymore. Are you never going to get to save at Kohl's anymore? No, you're still going to get the stuff in the mail. You're still going to get the stuff at the store. You can still look the stuff up online on their website. You're really not losing anything. And if you're not sure, because a lot of people aren't really savvy, how do I know if I'm up to date? How do I know if I have any antivirus put in there? Do some research, take it to a store, a Best Buy or a Micro Center. You can call the company, if it's Intel or Dell or Mac, ask, what should I be looking for? Maybe look online, ask. You want to check. You don't want to leave it up to chance. Look out for sketchy emails. Again, they showed in the video so many emails that we get that look real, but they're just off. Where Bill Gates with a Z, or it's from Amazon, but not .com, .out or something. That do not be tricked, right? Read it. If it looks at all suspicious, if they are asking for any personal information, anybody worth something knows they're not going to ask for your personal information through email. Hey, can you send us your account numbers and your PIN number through email real quick? Who's going to ask you for that, right? Your student loan company is not going to be asking you for that. The Social Security organization is not going to write you and say, can you please send us back your Social Security number to confirm that we have the right one? No, they're not going to do that. So if it looks the least bit suspicious, grammatical errors, a lot of times if you're reading, you'll see, grammatical errors, which give you a clue that something's not right. And sometimes they'll even look almost scary. This is the Social Security Administration. We have found fraud and you are out all this money and it has been reported. And if it is not repaid in this amount of time, and we need your Social Security number, otherwise you'll get, this debt, or it'll be, this is the Federal Reserve and you've had fraud and we need you to give us your information because there's a warrant out for your arrest. I've heard all kinds of scams where people are pretending to be these big organizations. And it's online and email, but definitely over the phone. I have gotten so many phone calls that, quite honestly, if I didn't work at a credit union and teach financial literacy, I could have potentially fallen for. I was in the grocery store one time and I got a call and it said, oh, hi, this is something from MasterCard. We noticed we've noticed some potential fraudulent purchases. We'd like to go over it with you, all of those things that sound right. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, sure, trying to get this done while I'm shopping. And then as I'm thinking about it while she's talking, I'm like, I don't have any MasterCards. I only have Visas. And I hung up because I don't have a MasterCard. So why would MasterCard possibly be calling me? There's absolutely no reason. And even though it says fraud, even though it sounds like something I need to follow up on, hang up and call back. Because you know what? If it really is MasterCard, call the number back. Say, oh, I'm sorry, I just got disconnected. Likely they will not answer that phone. If it calls and says, this is your financial institution and we're looking for this information, feel free to hang up and call your financial institution. I called my credit card company right after that and said, hey, I'm just kind of checking on. And they're like, nope, we don't see anything unusual here. So it's easy to be tricked when you feel like someone's trying to help you, or they're trying to make sure nothing bad happens and you just got to help us so we can help you. No one's going to protect your money more than you are, right? Don't give out any information. Make them fight it. If they say, well, we're going to send a cop over there and you're going to be arrested for this. I've heard that it was called the grandparents scheme, where they'll call grandparents and pretend to be either a cop or a grandchild. We have your grandson in custody here and we need $10,000, $5,000. Unfortunately, we've seen it many, many times at our credit union and been able to stop as people have come in and said, oh, I need $10,000 cash, please, as soon as possible. I need to wire it, to someone. And it's just, really? Why? Oh, it's to this lawyer. He said he needs the money right away. Otherwise, my grandson will never get out. And, we say, well, let's make a few phone calls first. Let's check in on this. And sure enough, each and every time, there is no lawyer. The grandson is just fine sitting at home. So even if something my grandson is a troublemaker, hang up, call the grandson, call his parents, double check. There's absolutely nothing wrong. It breaks your heart when you think of how many thousands of dollars these poor, people would be giving up. Sketchy emails are hard to recognize sometimes because they'll come from addresses a lot of times they'll somehow get it where it looks like it's coming from someone else. I also had an occasion where I was the secretary for this nonprofit boating education organization, and I got an email from the commander, and he said, oh, hi, Colleen, we need to do this and this and this for, community service and giveaways, and can you please go out and purchase, this many Amazon gift cards and scratch off the scratch off the back and then take a picture of the PIN number and send it back to me. And I was really busy that day. I remember specifically because I was getting a new car that night and I was freaking out like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have time to get these gift cards. And I was writing back, oh, I don't have time tonight. Is there any way I can do it tomorrow? And I had a back and forth with who I thought was my commander saying, oh, that's fine. You can do it tomorrow. Just make sure you do it as soon as possible. And it wasn't until I left work that I kind of really thought about it. And, you know, he would ask for gift cards. That doesn't seem unusual. The email was from him, but I couldn't get past why would he want me to scratch off the PIN numbers and send a picture to him? That doesn't seem right. That doesn't make any sense. And sure enough, I checked my personal email and there were a bunch of other people in the organization who said, hey, did anyone else get this email from Gary? And Gary jumped on and said, oh my gosh, do not go buy any. And I think a couple people did. So be very, very suspicious, even if it's something from someone you know or you recognize. So often in all kinds of different methods have I heard of buy this gift card and send me the codes, send me the codes so I can provide it to someone else. That is definitely not how that works. So never go out and buy gift cards and then just give away all the information to someone who you have no idea who you're talking to. Don't overshare. Again, is your birthday, day, year, everything listed on Facebook? Is your phone number on Facebook? I see that on sometimes too. Do you post all the time so much where they can tell whether you're not home or you are home? When you're out of the house for a long time? Do you post those vacations, leaving for a whole week, see you guys later? A lot of times my friends will post all their vacation stuff when they come back. They'll take tons of pictures and do all the fun stuff, but then not until they come home will they say, oh, here's all the great pictures from our vacation. Now we're home. So it doesn't give out any indication of the house being emptied anymore. And does anyone have any questions on just kind of the basics of identity theft, preventing, trying to make it at least more difficult for these criminals?
Colleen, how effective is getting LifeLock?
LifeLock is effective. Again, all the personal stories. Many years ago, I had my entire purse stolen. And luckily I had my car keys and my phone in my coat pocket, but I had just gotten a new job. So I just so happened to have my social security card on me because I had to show it to them at work, which you should never carry on you. And I was freaking out. All my cards, my checkbook, everything. So I did get LifeLock. I paid and I got a year. And it checks and it makes sure that, it monitors everything. It does not mean you have to keep it for the rest of your life. It means you can have it, for 1 year or 2 years. Something else that's an option if, let's say you had something stolen, and now you're really worried that they're going to use your name, you can have your credit frozen. You can call and say, I would like my credit frozen, as in nobody, nobody can get any credit on my name until I unfreeze it. Now, you'll want to do that if you genuinely are not planning to, buy a car or get any new credit cards. If it's later on in life, you're living in your forever home, maybe a great idea just to do anyway. Say, you know what, I'm going to freeze my credit because I have no intentions of getting any new credit. But if I so desire to buy a summer home or do anything else, then you can unfreeze your credit and have it, work absolutely perfectly fine. Something else I also recommend, it's called opt-out pre-screen. Let's see if I can put this in the chat here. Opt-out prescreen.com is a great website. What it is it asks for your information. It might look sketchy, but I promise it's not. And it stops you are now opted out of all those credit offers. You will not be receiving those many debt consolidation offers, those Discover card, envelopes day after day after day. It doesn't do anything to your credit. It doesn't freeze your credit. All it does is opt you out of those pre-screened emails, those you're pre-approved, we see that you have debt and we'd like to help. And it really substantially cuts down on your mail. And A, that's good for the environment. B, it's good because it's less hassle for you. And C, it's honestly just really kind of depressing and frustrating. And you get all this mail telling you how much you need a loan and constantly reminding you, well, you're in debt. You need our help. You need a debt consolidation loan. And wears on you. It really does. And it doesn't mean you need it. It means someone else thinks you need it. So I recommend going to opt out pre-screen, taking your name off all of those lists. Again, you can still walk into a store, apply for the store credit card that same day. All it does is take you out of the pre-screen.
What if you are the victim of identity theft? What are the steps you would take to rectify that?
Well, it kind of depends on which it is. If you notice fraudulent activity on your credit card or debit card, of course, you immediately want to call the financial institution, get them canceled. You can even a lot of times go online to the mobile app and turn the card off. Like, let's say you realize it's gone at 11 o'clock at night and you can't get a hold of anyone at the call center at 11 o'clock at night. You can go on the app and say turn off the debit card. I know our mobile app does that. Not everyone does. If it's a credit identity theft, where something on your credit report, someone has actually applied for a credit card, or someone has, defaulted on a loan that you didn't take out, that is a much bigger process. You do need to dispute. You can go to annualcreditreport.com. It will walk you through making a dispute. There's all these laws, rules of 60 days to investigate. Has to get worked out. It's not easy, but it can definitely be done. The most complicated, I won't say only, but really the only times I've heard some real horror stories of identity theft is medical debt. When someone uses your name at a hospital, or tries to use your insurance, and then you get this bill from a hospital, or you have this delinquent hospital bill from somewhere in Utah on your credit report, and you're like, but I've never even been to Utah. Simply because it's your medical history and your financial history kind of together, it's very difficult to get that medical history changed, to get that I never was in Utah with a broken arm, taken off your medical record. So it's really important to just keep up with that stuff. Check your credit report. Check your credit report multiple times a year. Even if you're doing everything right and you're like, I'm sure I have really good credit. Well, great. My credit report's been telling me I have good credit. I just want to make sure there's nothing there that shouldn't be there. Michigan, the Attorney General's office. Certainly turn to the Michigan Attorney General's office. Their website has a ton of information. We used to have them come in and present identity theft webinars. They have all kinds of information on specific scams, like they said, cruise scams, charity scams, mail scams, romance scams. You also hear about these people in the new relationships. They meet online and, oh, he asked me for money and I kept sending him money and now all of a sudden I can't get a hold of him. So it's a great idea to peruse through there and see, what some of the different things to watch out for.
Do you guys have any questions? Okay, no questions.
You covered everything very well. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you. And last bit, never feel embarrassed or, well, I'm not really sure if this is me. Always check. If there's a transaction on your debit card that just looks weird, you're like, I don't remember ever shopping at that store. Always call. It's no harm done if you're like, oh, that's right. You know what? I did buy that. I'm sorry. No harm done. So always just double check.
And so your recommendation is to, especially if you know you're not going to apply for new credit, is to just freeze your credit?
It's an option. It's certainly depending on, again, your situation in life. But if you said, I got my house, I'm going to drive this car till it dies, and I've had the same credit card for, 20 years, then there's not much reason not to. It doesn't hurt you in any way.
What's the difference between locking your credit and freezing?
What do you mean locking your credits?
Some credit bureaus have as an option to lock your credit as opposed to freezing. They
may be using it, for the same term. I would just research. If it sounds like it's freezing, just read all that fine print. Is this exactly what it is? I don't know of what a separate, like a different level of locking credit. The only way I can think of that is, if you apply for credit and you get approved from something, and now they have to, lock in and honor what they've presented to you. But that's different. So.
Okay. And lastly, on the freezing thing, it's not a big deal to unfreeze if you decide to go that route.
Correct.
Okay. Good deal. Well, all right then, we will wrap things up. Thank you again, Colleen. That was an excellent presentation. Some really great information about identity theft and ways to protect yourself that I'm sure will be useful to everyone. I know for myself, it was great. Thank you,
Sometimes
guys.
you just need to be reminded.
Yeah, absolutely. Just normal things that you don't really even consider that really makes a big difference. I know for me, because I feel my memory is lapsing. I'm like, no, I can't keep changing the password. But
right.
In actuality, I'm doing myself a disservice by not.
And you can have, I have, kind of a system in my head for passwords of where they're each kind of slightly different, or they go in like a series, but a series that would only make sense to you. It's let's just say ex-boyfriends' names, but who would know the order of your ex-boyfriends? Something like that. And I didn't mention, I forgot, young people on these online games, these Call of Duty and these online games. I don't know too much about it, but I know my partner was saying there's, the codes and you can request to be, talking to people and send them your code. So be very careful and know what's going on with your kids in the video game world, and just opening up the computer to anyone.
Okay, good deal. Thanks again, you guys, for joining us. And thank you, Colleen. And we will see you on Monday and our last financial literacy presentation, which will be on writing a business plan.
I have one last question. Do you see that question I put in the chat? Sometimes I get a message that says your password has been seen on the dark web. Please change your password. I get that several times. Is it legitimate?
I've never seen that. My gut would be no. I would look to see, not look to see, but what
It'll be on
Yeah,
a
just delete,
site that I
is
use.
something changing? Now that I
Yeah.
ignored that, oh, this happened. So there must have been something to it. But if you haven't, changed or gone along with the directions and nothing
Right, okay.
happens,
Yeah.
then yeah.
Yeah, I just ignore it usually, but I'll log out because I feel like I'm being stalked or something. So,
Right. I mean, that's a
yeah,
pretty serious thing to just pass along in an email, hey,
Yeah.
you're on the dark web. So yeah, I would be more inclined to just delete those without even finish
Yeah.
reading it.
Okay. Thank you.
There's actually when you like sign into anything on any app that you use on your Google Chrome, actually says it gives you a notification that says save password, and then there's a button that says never. It's actually sometimes we actually ignore that and just press the X because we don't know what to do. But then there's actually a trick that you go to setting, you type passwords, and you can actually see what passwords are saved on the setting. So most of the apps that you used are actually saved in the setting in the settings, and you actually can delete all of those. So that's why I never say save password. I actually do never, and then I don't keep signed in to any of my any of like Amazon, Walmart, bank's account or something. I never actually keep them saved. Just, I mean, it doesn't hurt to log back and then log back, then sign out and then log back in. It's better.
Right. That's a great point. Yes, I forgot about that, where they say, oh, would you like us to just save this? And you're thinking, of course, how convenient. But yeah, when you realize like, oh, I turn the computer on and look, I can get into, anywhere without even really trying. And especially for work, I know when I get a new work computer and you have to kind of start all over again and, oh, I got to set this, but it's much better to, save it in a secure app. We have something called Secret Server that our work uses, that you have to kind of sign into that before you can sign in to get your passwords. But absolutely, saving your passwords is convenient, but makes it easier for others, certainly.
And that was an excellent point about staying signed in to certain websites and locations, because I'm guilty of that. Oh my God. Never sign me out because I don't want to retype my password and username all the time. So I'm like, yes, keep me on.
Yeah.
But that is a very excellent point. You are correct.
And especially on public. I mean, certainly, absolutely. If you're on a public Wi-Fi and you're just, you're waiting, my fiance lives in New York City and he's out looking for Wi-Fi in all the different, spots all over the city. So he rarely uses the Wi-Fi that's actually at, his home. So you really got to keep in mind what you're doing there.
Wow. Great information. Again, fabulous. Thank you guys, and have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Have a
you
great
too,
weekend.
Tony.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye, you
Thank you.
guys.
Bye.